What we want to do in worksheets inside of workbooks is sometimes work with multiple worksheets. We looked at that in the last module where we know from looking at down here at the bottom of the screen, we can adjust the number of worksheets. I want to take this worksheet and duplicate it. This is the Profit Hendo first quarter. I want to make a worksheet for the second quarter. So what I will do here is right click on this worksheet and I will duplicate it. Watch what happens. It's made me a copy. I know I'm on the second worksheet because it has a 2 behind it. It's made a copy of sheet 1 and labeled it sheet 1 parentheses 2. We know we can move worksheets around very easily by dragging. So I want quarter 1, first quarter, to be in the first position and second quarter to be in position number 2. What we should do first is in sheet number 2, in this case, is come up here and I'm going to just double click on the word and I'm going to call it second quarter. All right, so we have a little difference with our titling, which is important, so we can tell them apart. The other thing we should do is rename these tabs. I'm going to double click on sheet 1 and I'm going to call this first quarter sales. And I'm going to double click on this sheet and I'm going to call it second quarter sales. Okay, now I can kind of see what's going on a little easier. Let's also, we know we can use tab colors here. Let's change the first sheet to a light green and the second sheet to a light blue. All right, so that helps us tell them apart as well if we're on one or the other. Okay, so with second quarter sales as our second worksheet, right now it's a mirrored copy of the first one. It's a copy. All the data is the same. Watch what happens when we get this second worksheet ready for new data. We need different data because it is the second quarter. I'm going to highlight just the data range. Remember, that is the titles, the number sold, and the price. And I'm going to clear these cells, and the easiest way to do that is hit the delete key. They're now empty. Okay, notice in this column, if I arrow down, I still have all my formulas intact. My sum formula here is intact. My sum formula here is intact. My count formula here and my average, min, and max are all still there. They just don't have any values to work with, but they still point to the same cells. They're waiting for values. Notice my conditional formatting on number sold is all red because now the values in this data are all under 75. So let's bring in some data. Now, I'm going to show you here on the screen what basic data can look like. This is a text file. You'll notice it's typed second quarter data. This is a text file where each column is separated by a tab. In other words, if I were to highlight in here and delete this and then hit tab, in between the name of the video type, the number sold, and the price, there's a tab. If I do it that way or get data in that form, sometimes it can be separated by commas, I can then bring it over into a worksheet very quickly. Let's do that. I'm going to highlight this data and I'm going to copy it to my clipboard. I'm going to come back to my spreadsheet, and knowing that I want the data to start in this cell, upper left in B3, I'm going to highlight that single cell and paste. Simply Command V on my Mac and Control V on a Windows. And look what's happened. All of this data dropped in. All of this data matched the previous. All of this data dropped in, and all of this data dropped in, which changed my numbers here for my grand total. Let's go back to quarter 1 sales. Grand total is $69,865. For second quarter, much better, $83,993. All of these formulas remained intact. The empty cells took the data because of the way it was formatted. I just pasted it in the upper left. My conditional formatting in both of these cases, these are both conditional formatting, changed as well. The number sold certainly changed. 2,700 for second quarter, 2,476. Also, my highest and lowest price and average changed because some of the pricing changed per unit. That shows us a very simple method to have different worksheets with different data. In this case, it's sales quarters. I could then duplicate the second quarter and have it be third quarter and erase the data and wait for new data to come in from the sales team and drop it in, and I've got my report.